Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to the webinar. My name is Toni Coleman-Brown, and how are you guys doing? It's good to see you guys here tonight, and I just want everyone to, I want to make sure that you guys can hear me. So I'd like for you guys to enter into the chat. If you can hear me, just say you can hear me loud and clear. I want to say hello to Cassandra Carter, to Jackie, to Patricia, to Michelle, to Janet, to Andrea. How you doing, Andrea? I see you made it. Let me see if I can pull you into the room. Okay. I'm going to invite you as a speaker, and hopefully you can come into the room. So you'll see how that, that kind of works. So if you are here and you can hear me loud and clear, great. Can you see my screen? Please let me know if you can see my screen. You guys said that you can definitely hear me, and I just want to make sure that you can see my screen. So thanks, Becca. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks, Danielle. Thanks, Valerie. Thanks so much. Thank you, guys. So you can see my screen. You can see this slideshow that says how to use Periscope to grow your business. Great. Great, great, great. All right, awesome. Awesome, awesome. I want to make sure that I'm going to move on to the next slide, but I just want to make sure that you guys can see that slide as well. So when I go to my next slide, can you see that? Because I just want to make sure that everything is working fine. So you can see the next slide. Just want to make sure of that. Loud and clear. Thanks, Kimberly. Hi, Leona. How are you? Okay, great. Great. Molly says she can't hear anything. But everybody else, if you can't hear anything, Molly, you might want to reconnect, or you might want to check the volume on your computer or your laptop and make sure that the volume is set up on as high as you can. So that's awesome. It looks like everybody can hear me and everybody can see me. So thank you so much. So once again, welcome everybody to the webinar. I was so excited to be invited here by Andrea Linton Robbins. And hi, Andrea. I see that you made it. How are you? And you're unmuted so we can hear you. You want to say hello to everyone? I see you. Can you hear me, Andrea?
Yeah, I can hear you. I told you I've been having a lot of computer problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How many people we got on the webinar?
All right. Right now we have about, let me double check. We have about 22 people here in the room right now. So.
Cool. Okay.
All right. Leona said reconnecting will help. Tamika said she couldn't hear anything. So mostly everybody can hear me loud and clear. And some people are having some issues with hearing. So if you're having some issues with your volume, you might want to check the volume on your laptop, or you might want to log out and log back in, because sometimes it has to do with your connection, especially if you've had your computer on for a while. And also if you have a lot of windows open, you might want to close out some of your windows, because if you have a lot of windows going on in the background, it can slow down and impede your connection, and it can sometimes cause that buffering. So when you're on a webinar, you want to make sure you have as many of your windows as closed as you possibly can. So did you want to say anything before I get started, Andrea?
You already started talking. I just wanted everybody to get on this webinar so they could see how they could use Periscope to grow their business. I'm hearing a lot of buzz on the internet about the Twitter app that's out now, and a lot of people are talking about making money with it. And I know that you are an internet marketing, network marketing guru, multiple six-figure earner. I have been following you for quite a number of years. and have had the pleasure to work with you. And I really appreciate you jumping on and doing this webinar for us. So I want to get out of the way. And she's already kind of introduced herself. This is Toni Coleman-Brown.
All right, all right, all right. Andrea is phenomenal, and you can mute yourself out whenever you want to, Andrea. So if you want to just do that while we just rock and roll. But Andrea said those things about me, but I have to tell you guys, she's a phenomenal woman. She's doing some great things in the industry. And I mean, she's proven herself to be also a great internet marketer, doing some great things online. So I'm excited to be here. And I mean, we're also like sister friends. I remember when we first met so clearly, Andrea was like, man, you look like you could be my sister. And I was like, yeah, you look like you could be my sister. So, we've had this kind of kindred spirit right from the start. So I mean, I love her, and I would do anything for her. And anytime she calls, I pick up the phone. If she has any questions, I give her my time. And I mean, I really think she's a blessing to the industry of network marketing, and also she's a blessing to the industry of internet marketing, because she's a force to be reckoned with on that as well. So as she said, I've had a lot of success in the home-based industry. I've just I've had a good run, and I've always been interested in technology, and I've always been like at the forefront of social media, and also all of these new apps. I have an app that's going to be releasing probably around the end of this month or the beginning of next month. So when it comes down to technology, I just like to be in the know of what's going on. So Periscope is this new craze. I have to tell you, it's pretty phenomenal. A lot of people are having a lot of success. I've noticed a lot of success with Periscope, and the thing that I love about it the most is the fact that your popularity and your results can happen quickly. So before I really get into all of what Periscope is all about and everything, I have to tell you guys about an experience that I had with Periscope. I said I was going to start doing these scopes, and I was going to start doing these Periscopes about Facebook and Facebook training, and I've done a live networking hangout where I invited people to come on and just share a little bit about their business and about what they do. But I'll never forget the first Periscope that I did. I was giving away a free ebook, which it was a Facebook cheat sheet. And I talked, I gave a little bit of information, a little bit of training, maybe like about 3 points, 3 little pointers as it related to Facebook. I, kind of mapped everything out. And then at the end of the Periscope, I told people, to go to, this URL to download a Facebook cheat sheet that I had. And I was shocked and amazed because I had only done, maybe 1 or 2 Periscopes. I think this was my second. It might have been my first Periscope that I did. But I was shocked and amazed after I got off the Periscope and I went and I checked my inbox. And I had, I kid you not, about 20 new people to sign up to my mailing list just from that Periscope, just from telling them to go download that Facebook cheat sheet. And that is when I really knew that there was something about Periscope that was really special, and that there was something about this particular platform that I really should wrap my arms around. So tonight what I'm going to do is share with you a little bit about what I've learned and how you can go about doing some of the exact same things that I'm doing and some of the exact same things that others are doing on Periscope to draw attention to your business, to also add names to your list, and most importantly, to drive traffic to your website. It's always a beautiful thing when you can give free traffic to your website. And when you use platforms like Periscope, you can definitely make that happen. So Periscope is a live streaming app that's available for your Apple phones and your Apple products, as well as for Android. It was developed by this guy by the name of Kayvon Beckpour and Joe Bernstein. And it was a startup app, and it was purchased by Twitter for about $100 million in March of this year. And once Twitter purchased the app, and you were able to kind of connect to the app from Twitter and all of that stuff, I mean, it's just taken off ever since. And a lot of people know what Periscope is all about. Some people don't know what Periscope is all about, but really and truly, it's an app that's meant for people to see the world through your eyes. So for example, if you're doing something that's new and different, you said you lost me. Michelle says she lost me. So if anybody lost me, or if you're buffering or anything like that, what you might want to do is make sure that you clear all of the other things that you have running in the background, and make sure that you are plugged in to your cable box. Sometimes you may need to use your Ethernet to plug directly into your cable box, but it usually has something to do with your connection if you are losing me on this webinar, because it is running over a Google platform. And it's usually pretty solid. So if you're having some buffering, definitely make sure you guys do that. Close out all of the things that you have running in the background, so you don't get that, and so you don't get your calls dropped, your lines dropped. But what I was saying before was that your Periscope was primarily created so people could see the world through your eyes. But what has happened with Periscope, and I mean, and sometimes you'll see people filming live shows. They film live from events, or if they're doing something new and different, what will end up happening is people will they'll Periscope, and you'll be able to see what's going on. I mean, I've seen some interesting things. I've seen people show what was going on with the refugee situation over in Europe. So I've seen a lot of different things on Periscope. But what I've seen a lot lately is a lot of people doing training on Periscope. And one of the things that I can tell you that if that's something that you want to do, if you want to start doing trainings or your motivational speeches or all of those things over Periscope, make sure you plan it out, and make sure that you don't keep it going for a long period of time, because people will jump on and people will jump off. But anyway, it's a great new app, and a lot of people are using it, and it's a great way for you to drive traffic to your website. So what I'm going to do tonight, I don't have a lot of slides, but what I want to do is kind of tell you some of the things that you can do before your broadcast, and some of the things that you want to do during your broadcast, and some of the things that you want to do after your broadcast. And that way you'll have an idea of how to make it great for you. Okay, so some of the things that you want to do before your broadcast is, you want to make sure when you create your Periscope account, the first thing you want to do, of course, is download the app. When you download the app, you want to upload a photo, because a lot of times when people see you logging on to broadcast and you don't have a photo, they call that an egg, because there's a little Periscope egg that shows up when your picture isn't showing. So you want to make sure that you're not an egghead. You want to make sure that you have your picture. And then there's a little section for you to upload a little bit about what you do. You want to make sure that you include your URL in that section. It's only 100 or so characters, so you want to make sure you use that section wisely. Also, one of the most important things that you want to do is give your scope a compelling name. Now, why you want to do that is because a lot of times what happens when people go to Periscope, they can see what's going on live in their area. So when people are scrolling through the live stream section, and they're going to look at a bunch of different titles. So you want to make sure that your title is very compelling, and that it's compelling enough that people will want to stop by and check out what it is you're doing, or what it is you're talking about, or what it is that you're live streaming. So make sure that it's compelling, and that it's something that will draw people in. Also, you might want to use a tripod or a selfie stick, because you know when you hold your phone, if you're holding it with your hands can be very shaky. So that's going to make your scope kind of shaky and jumpy. And that's okay, because sometimes people flip back and forth with their Periscope from, they flip from showing the front view of the camera to flipping the camera around to showing them. And that's okay. But know that if you're going to use your hands, that your scope is going to be very shaky. And so if you're doing a Periscope and you're just going to sit down and talk, it's better to have your phone in a very stationary position so it's not moving and jumping around and all of that stuff. And then also you want to go to this site called catch.me. And what catch.me does, when you go there, is really simple for you to register. What it does is it will capture all of your recordings on Periscope. So every time you do a scope, it'll capture the recording for you. And you can later on go back to catch.me and you can download it. You can use the link and share it. And you can upload it once you download it to YouTube and all of that stuff. So that will allow you not to have all of that video stored on your phone, because you can use a lot of your memory very fast if you have a lot of video stored on your phone. So if you use catch.me, it'll capture every scope, every Periscope that you record will be captured on catch.me, and all you have to do is log on to that site, and then you'll see all of your videos there, and you'll see all of the analytics related to that video. Also, before your broadcast, you want to really plan out what it is you want to scope about. If you're going to be talking in front of the screen, you want to make sure that you map out your strategy, write a little outline as it relates to what you want to talk about. If it's three things, 3 tips about having better health, or 3 tips about making more money, or 3 tips about saving more money, whatever it is, know what those 3 tips are. Have it kind of mapped out either in your head or utilize a little cheat sheet. And then create yourself some signs or some little call to action signs or some little call to action index cards. Because what I believe is that you should always have an in-game strategy as it relates to anything that you do. When you're recording online, when you're doing a training, you always want to have an end in mind. I believe in starting everything with the end in mind. And what I mean by that is, if you're planning on promoting a product, so you know that before you get on a Periscope, I am going to promote XYZ, and this is how I'm going to do it. And if you are giving, like, say for instance, if you are a part of a health and wellness company, and one of the products that you guys have is essential oils, and you want to promote the lavender essential oil, okay, you might want to give 3 benefits for using lavender, or the 3 benefits of lavender. And you might want to talk about how it soothes, how you can put a few drops of lavender in your bathtub, or how you can, put lavender in, a pot of water and boil it and scent up the whole house. I mean, you might want to talk about 3 top uses of lavender and how it can help calm and soothe, or the 3 top benefits of lavender and the 3 top uses. And then that at the end you want to sell your. So that at the end of your scope, you're going to talk about and here's where you can get the best lavender oil. And you want to hold up a sign where people can actually go to, and they can see it on the screen, and they can go to that website and purchase your lavender oil. And the other thing that you might want to do is, if you have a virtual assistant or if you have a friend, you can tag team. And while you're holding up the sign, you can have your friend or someone type it out in the actual scope. So, type it out into the feed of the scope. Or if you don't have somebody that you're tagging team with, you might want to tell them, to engage the audience, type this into the feed. Or, if you feel like you're stressed, say stress, something like that. But, have all of those things thought of, planned out, and so that you know exactly when you want to say what, and when you want to engage people, and when you want to hold up your signs. Because at the end of the day, you don't want your periscopes to go on for hours. You want your periscopes, you want to be in and you want to be out. Because at the end of the day, while you get a lot of analytics as it relates to your periscope with regards to who was on, but what you want to pay close attention to is how long people stayed on. And if people only stayed on for a few minutes or a few seconds, then that's telling you a lot. That's telling you, with regards to how good your content was, how good your engagement was, so how long you were able to get people's attention, grab their attention, and how long you were able to keep their attention. And if you were able to keep their attention through to the very end. So all of that is very important. But these are some of the things that you want to do before you broadcast. All right, during your broadcast. So you want to take the first 30 seconds of your broadcast and welcome all your guests. And some people are going to be watching the broadcast on a replay. So you want to, welcome your replay guests as well. You want to, let them know this is how it's going to go down. Today, this is what I'm going to be talking about. And if you like what you hear, definitely give me the hearts. Hit and you tap your screen. And when you tap your screen, that's how I get those hearts. And those hearts let me know that you are enjoying what I am saying. You want to make sure that when you're holding your camera, you always hold it upright in the portrait position, because if you hold it sideways, it's not going to look so great. It's going to come out a little bit crazy. So you want to make sure that you're asking for shares and let people know if they're on an iPhone, they can either swipe up or swipe to the right. Or to the left, so that they can share the broadcast with other people. And then when you're looking at your screen and you see that other people have invited other people to that particular broadcast, you want to thank them for inviting followers to your broadcast. You want to, just continue to welcome people throughout. Don't worry about if sometimes you have to break away from your content to respond. And also beware of the trolls. I didn't put that on this slide, but beware of the trolls. The trolls are the eggheads, the people that don't have any photos, and they're going to come to your broadcast and they're going to say stupid stuff like blah, 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 or they're going to put crazy things in the chat. And what's going to end up happening as a result of that, there's a question. Cassandra wants to know, how long should your scope be? I don't think scopes should go longer than really 15 minutes. I think that's a good amount of time. I think 10 to 15 minutes, go in and go out. Because to be quite honest, unless you're like at a live event, right? Because I actually saw some people that were periscoping from the VMAs, and they were on this red carpet, and as people were passing by, they were pulling people in and interviewing them, and they were interviewing them live on Periscope. Well, that's the kind of Periscope that will go on for a long period of time. But if you're doing a training or something like that, you don't necessarily want to be on Periscope for an hour, because I'm telling you, I just don't. This is my personal opinion. This is not fact, but I don't believe people are staying on Periscope that long. And and when I look at my particular broadcast and I look at the amount of time that people spent, like the longest or the average time that people stayed on that particular scope, it's not that long. It's about 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. People don't like to stay on, and I mean, it's their phone too, and people are looking on their phone. They have a million and one other things they want to do with their phone. They want to go to Facebook, they want to go to their other favorite social media sites, they want to check their emails, they and the phone rings, of course. And when the phone rings, they're going to pick up the phone. So you have to be mindful of all of those things, and that's why it's so important to prepare in advance and have that ingrained strategy in mind, because you want to be in, you want to pack a powerful punch, and you want to come right back out. So make sure that you're engaging with people. So if you're doing a Periscope and it's about making money, you want to do things like type money in the feed if you're ready to make some money. Type right now if you're ready to make some money right now. So you want to do things like that and get people engaged and keep people kind of excited about what's going on. And then before you leave your Periscope, you definitely want to make sure that you reiterate your calls to action, and you want to recap all of the points. So you're saying, so tonight I went over the 3 top benefits of lavender. I went over the 3 ways you can use lavender, and I told you where you can go to find the best lavender oil that there is. So if you're ready to go get that lavender oil, type ready, and I'm going to show you the URL. Everybody types in ready. So here's the URL, and then make sure you have a little card so you can show people. And if you see someone that you recognize, just say, so Marie, why don't you type this URL in the feed so everybody can see it? I mean, so they'll see it while you're holding up the sign, and they'll see it while they're looking at the feed, and that'll reiterate it. So it's good for people to visually see things. It's good for people to hear things, to visually see it while you're holding up a card or something, and also for them to see it in the feed. That's reinforcement. And so that will give them the message that they want to go there, and they will remember it as well. So they'll go and they'll check out that lavender oil or whatever it is. Or if it's your opportunity, if you want to say, are you ready for an opportunity? Somebody type opportunity, and they type opportunity, and you say, yes, we're ready to go to this opportunity and to get this thing started. Somebody type get it started. They say get it started. All right, well, here it is. Here's where you go. And you want to hold up your sign, and you want to get people to type it into the feed. So these are some of the important things that you want to do to keep things engaged, and also, have fun. I've seen people on certain days of the week, they'll, like it'll be a Friday, and they can say, all right, everybody, it's Trivia Friday. And I've seen people play songs, and they'll say, name that song, okay? And they'll play the song, and the first person to name it, they'll say, all right, they got it, and then they'll go to the next song and just have fun. So while some of your scopes might be all about business, make sure you also incorporate some fun. And then when you're out and about and your kids are doing crazy things, or you guys might be at an amusement park, make sure that you show some of that as well, so people can see a more well-rounded you, and they can get to know you. And remember, your scopes don't stay on Periscope but for 24 hours. So the next day they will be gone. That's one of the reasons why you see people periscoping a lot. I personally don't see a reason why people should scope 3 and 4 times a day, but yet there are some people that are out there scoping 3 and 4 times a day. And hey, if it's bringing traffic to your website, if it's working for you, I say definitely do it. But you guys, if it's not working and you find that you're kind of wasting a lot of time, then definitely you don't want to do that. So I'm here, and I'm coming over here, and I'm going to take a break before I go to after the broadcast to answer some questions. So doesn't the scope get dropped if you get a phone call during it? Yes, absolutely, Leona. They get dropped. How do you put your picture on Periscope? Basically, you put your picture on your profile. So when you're setting up your profile, and it's really your Twitter profile, and if you don't have a picture in your Twitter profile, it's not gonna carry through over to Periscope. So that's how you do that. And if you want to show a picture during your broadcast, one of the things that you want to do is you can go to your live Twitter page. It says my screen is blurred. I'm going to go to the other screen, all right, so you guys can see it clearly. But if you want to do a live broadcast where people can actually see your picture, you can go to your Twitter feed, or you can go to your Facebook fan pages, or you can, put your picture up on a PowerPoint. And then while you're doing your scope, if you don't want to show yourself, keep the camera on the screen, keep the camera on the computer screen, and just talk while it's on the computer screen, and you have your picture up. Or if you can have somebody, you can go to Fiverr, Fiverr.com, and somebody can type that into the chat. Fiverr, Fiverr.com, and you can have someone create for you your very own Periscope slide with your picture on it. So you can have somebody design that for you, and if you can have them design it in a way that it's one PowerPoint slide, and you have the ability to change the title. So if you don't want to show your screen, you can just have your camera point to that one PowerPoint slide with the title in it, and you can talk really quickly and go over your points while it's pointing to that. So you don't necessarily have to show yourself the whole entire time. So anyway, after the broadcast, what you want to do is check your stats. And if you don't have a way of finding out, like if you have a WordPress blog, a lot of times all you have to do is log into the dashboard, and if you downloaded the Jetpack has site stats. If you don't have Google Analytics added to your blog, that's something that you definitely want to do. Add that. And you want to check the statistics. After your Periscope, did you get more people visiting your website? Did you get more people added to your list? You can go to catch.me and you can check the stats, and it'll show you how many people watched the Periscope live, how many people watched the replay, how many hearts you got during that scope. Were people really engaged in what you were talking about? And then you want to make sure that you repurpose and reuse your videos. If you said something, if you did a Periscope and you're really proud about it and it was really hot and on point, load it up on Facebook. Load the video up on Facebook. Retweet it out on Twitter. And and then also too, before you start your broadcast, there are a couple of things that you should know. You can actually have it go live to Twitter. You can make your broadcast private, which means that only certain people that know you're doing a Periscope will know that it's going on. And also, one of the things that you can do before you start your broadcast is let me see, I'm about to get my phone right now. It's something else that I wanted to tell you guys about before you start in your broadcast, because there's certain things that you can do, because if you have it go, you can have it go directly to Twitter right there on a spot. And before you start your broadcast, it will ask you, what your title is, whether you want it public or private. And if you make it private, you can click on the followers that you want to view it. So for example, you can scroll right through your followers for a private broadcast, and you can click on the one. So if there's a certain group of people that that you want to view that particular Periscope and you don't want it to go to everybody else, you can do that. You can also turn the chat off if you want to, right? And only people that follow you can actually view the chat. And you can also turn off your location sharing. Okay, so basically um, a lot when you go onto Periscope and you're going on and you're looking at the world view, what will happen is the GPS location kicks in. So basically, if you want to see what people are streaming live in other countries, all you have to do is click on that GPS location pin, and it definitely will give you all of the people that are streaming in that area. If you look across the map of the US, if you want to look at and scroll at what people are streaming and scoping about in California, you could click on the pin on the map on California and you'll see all of the people that are streaming live in California. So it's really cool. When it's a public broadcast, it goes into the live feed so everyone can see it. When it's a private broadcast, it doesn't go into the live feed, and only the people that you want, of your followers that you want to see your broadcast, will see your broadcast. So you can turn the chat on and off. You can have it instantly go to Twitter, right? So there are a lot of, things that you want to pay attention to before you start your broadcast. It's okay to go and right now and live and do a test if you haven't done a Periscope before, and all you have to do is say this is a test, and you can just test it out and play around with it. But definitely check out your stats, because it's like I said, doing all of this stuff, it's a lot. It can be very overwhelming. And if you find that you like Periscope and that it's working for you, then keep doing it. If you find that people are coming to your website, people are signing up to your list, you're getting a lot of followers, you're getting a lot of love, you're getting a lot of hearts, then keep doing it. But if you're finding that, because to me, in my mind, every time you do a Periscope, that's almost like doing a free speaking engagement for some people. And in my mind, a lot of the information that's being shared is great, but I personally believe that not all the time when you do things on social media and on these platforms that it has to be about business. But if it's taken away time, you definitely want it to end up being a revenue producing activity. And even if it's not a right now revenue producing activity, then have it become a later on down the road revenue producing activity. Now, how you do that is by making it a list building strategy. So if you're building your list, that's awesome, because I consider list building an income producing activity, because while you may not make money today, you might make money down the road. And if you're driving people to your website, I consider that to be an income producing activity, because that's increasing your visibility. People are getting to know you. People are getting to know your website. Getting somebody to land on your website is huge. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you have things like retargeting pixels on your website, every visitor counts. Every visitor counts, because I know I have the Facebook retargeting pixel on my website. So every time you go to my website, it counts, okay? And it counts as me building my website audience. And how appropriate would it be for me to target the people that have visited my website anytime I do a Facebook ad? So all of these things, you want to think about all of these things before you jump out there and just say, oh, I'm scoping, I'm doing it, I'm making it happen. Yeah, but how are you making it happen? Are you making it happen in a way where you're just, giving drive-by information just away for free? Or are you making it happen in a way that you're giving information out in a way that people can drop by your website and get to know more about you? So make sure you're doing that. Make sure that you keep the end game strategy in mind. So really and truly, that's it as it relates to to all that I have to say as it relates to Periscope. Thank you, Lori, for putting in Fiverr.com. And can you change your Twitter login for Periscope? You can actually, this is what you can do. You can sign up for another Twitter account, and you can create a new Periscope account from your new Twitter account. So that's what you can do. Delilah, did you refresh your browser or hit the reconnect button? Yes, if you hit the reconnect button, you'll reconnect. Maybe you're using Google Chrome. Yeah, maybe that is the problem. All right, so do you guys have any other questions? Let me just say this. Yes, a replay will be available, Michelle, even if you use the same device. Yeah, even if you use the same device. You can't create more than one, because your Periscope account is connected to your Twitter account. So, and it's okay to create a new Twitter account. You know, I have more than one Twitter account. All right. So, do you guys have any other questions?
Hey, Toni, I typed in something and you might not have been able to see it. I don't know if that part is like disabled, but do you know whether or not someone told me, I'm just now really getting comfortable with starting to do videos. I know video marketing is really, really well, and especially if you're putting up training and different things like that to try to recruit individuals that are looking out for your business opportunity. You know whether or not if you use the airplane mode, if that will keep the scope from, somebody told me like when I'm videoing, sometimes my phone will ring and I'm like, oh God, I got to start all over again. The phone on airplane mode, it won't ring. Do you know if that would work for Periscope as well?
It should.
Okay. Okay.
It should.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I thank you so much for getting on and giving us these strategies and tips for us to get started. I think it's really important for us to be structured, like you said, and not go out and just start, like you said, scoping and giving us all the slang terms. I did not know what an egghead was. So I'm a little bit more confident.
Yeah. Get rid of those eggheads, man.
Okay, thank you so much for doing this, and I'm looking forward to doing some more trainings with you. Maybe you can show us how to start getting some traffic to our websites.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, that's all I've been doing is talking about traffic these days. So this is good. And yeah, the replay will be available. It should be available within 2 hours after this webinar. So you guys, you're welcome. I'm looking at the comments in the feed. So thank you. Good luck in your first Periscopes. And let me put where you guys can get in contact with me, because, you know, like I said, hey, I would be remiss if I didn't put my own in-game strategy in here, right? So you guys can contact me at ToniColeman-Brown.com. And if you go to my website, you're going to actually get the opportunity to get a free CD. And the CD is called Get Focused. And when you enter your name and email address in there, you'll get the Get Focused CD. And I also have a free 5-day boot camp. So if you're ready to have some success and get, you know, your life and your business back on track, or if you found that you've gone on the side streets a little bit and you're ready to get back on the main road, then definitely sign up for the 5-day email boot camp or the Get Focused CD, and it'll come. Yeah, Cece says you're going to love it, and Janet said, "Thanks, Toni. You're learning." Hey, Janet, how you doing? These are some of the people that are in my online marketing mastermind. And Janet is saying she's learning so much from me. So I appreciate that. You're welcome. And I need to reach out to you, Janet. I'm going to reach out to you offline, because I think Leona is on here too. She came to the Small Business Bootcamp for Women. And Leona, I think that Janet is the person that you're looking for. I think that Janet is the person that you're looking for. Janet Sinclair is her name. So, and I'll get in contact with you guys offline. But thank you so much, Miss Adrienne Linton Robbins. She's the lady of the hour, making it happen, doing some big things. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate your team, and I appreciate everybody who joined us tonight.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Thanks, you guys. The webinar is now officially over. So signing off. You guys have a great, great night. All right.